Shalom, this week's Sedra is Sedra Vayechi. Vayechi is not the easiest of Torah portions. It's written in a poetic style, and most of the posukim read are blessings that Yaakov gave to his sons on his deathbed. Most of the blessings are written in coded language, and the student that's studying it needs a few commentaries to understand the meaning of each blessing. Although the blessings are challenging to understand, the hard work necessary to decipher them are worth the effort when one really begins to understand how many of Yaakov's blessings came true as Jewish history began to unfold. One of the more interesting blessings that Yaakov gave to his sons was the blessing that Yehudah received. Yaakov said to his son, "The royal scepter shall not depart from Yehudah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, so that tribute shall come to him, and the homage of the peoples be his." This blessing promised Yehudah and his descendants that they would be the eternal kings of the Jewish people. There were times, though, that throughout Jewish history when descendants of the tribe of Yehudah were not the kings of the Jewish people. So the question begs to be asked, did Yaakov's blessing not come true? In his commentary on Yaakov's blessing to Yehudah, the Ramban wrote the following. We're going to quote the whole thing, well, a lot of it. The significance of this bracha is not that the scepter of royalty shall never depart from the tribe Yehudah, with the result being that if the king was ever dethroned, and the people and their king would be in exile, devoid of royalty and nobility. Yaakov did not assure the Jewish people that they would not enter captivity under any circumstances or exile because Yehudah would rule over them. That wasn't the meaning. Instead, the purpose of this blessing, explains the Ramban, is that the scepter will not depart from Yehudah to any of his brothers, for the king of Israel, who will rule over them, will always be from the tribe of Yehudah, and none of his brothers will rule over him. Yaakov said, "It shall not depart," in order to allude to the fact that another tribe will rule over Israel, but once the scepter of royalty comes to Yehudah, it will not depart from him to another tribe. The reason for Shaul, who was from a different tribe, being named king, even though he was from the tribe of Binyamin, was that the request from royalty at that time from the people, that they wanted to be people like all other people, was distasteful to God, and God did not wish to appoint a king over them from the tribe of whom royalty belonged and from whom it was never to depart. He therefore granted them a temporary royalty. In my opinion, says the Ramban, the kings from other tribes who ruled over Israel after King David went against the wish of their father Yaakov by diverting the inheritance of Yehudah to another tribe. When the 10 tribes of Israel continued to crown kings one after another of the rest of the tribes, and they did not revert to the kingdom of Yehudah, they transgressed, they sinned, and they were accordingly punished. This was also the reason for the punishment of the Chashmonaim, who reigned during the second temple. They were Cohanim, without whom the learning of Torah and the observance of mitzvot would have been forgotten in Israel. And yet, despite their crucial role, they suffered such great punishment as they were all destroyed on account of this sin of taking the royalty. It's also possible, the Ramban adds, that in addition to the Chashmonaim having sinned for assuming royalty when they were not of the tribe of Yehudah, they sinned in ruling on account of their being Cohanim, who had been commanded not to leave their service incumbent upon the Cohanim, teaching and serving the Beit HaMikdash. They were not to rule, but only to perform the service of God. The Ramban's commentary on this posuk is important to understanding Yaakov's blessing for Yehudah. The blessing promised Yehudah that his descendants would always be the kings of the Jewish people. The Ramban made 2 additional points. First, that no other tribe should be kings over the Jewish people, and second, that the Cohanim should stick to their jobs as teachers and workers in the temple. They shouldn't take on other roles, like ruling over the Jewish people. Judaism doesn't advocate a caste system where certain people are entitled to jobs because of the birthright. Yet there are roles carved out for certain tribes of Jews that other Jews cannot attain. The greatest position, that of Torah scholar, is open to all Jews, but royalty and Cohanim are reserved for certain Jews and not open to others. The balance between the entitlements and earned positions is an important balance to strike. Shabbat Shalom.